Hello and welcome to The Conversation Nigeria with me, Ndume Green. Today in the studio, I have Honorable Chidi Lloyd. 12 years in the House of Assembly, in the Rivers State House of Assembly as member representing Emoha constituency, is currently the chairman of Emoha local government. He's been in the news recently with regards to his approach to stop suits in Emoha local government after the governor gave a directive to that regard. Honorable Lloyd, you're welcome to the show today.
Thanks, Andrew.
Nice to meet you. So what's your approach? How are you going with the suit issue? When are we going to stop this suit entirely in Rivers State?
Well, when we all agree that we must put a stop to it, because it takes two to tango. The issue with the illegal oil refining is that we had started, no sooner I became chairman of Emoha local government in June of 2021, then we set up a committee to identify communities and spots where this illegal activity is going on. So when we did that, we also started destroying their locations. First is to do enough advocacy. We did enough advocacy to
sensitize.
Good, to tell our people that this is not the way to go. Even if we met stiff opposition at every point in time, we are told, look, oh, there is no job, this and that, government has not provided job. We say yes. I haven't seen a government that has been able to provide jobs for everybody. What government does is to provide the enabling environment.
Absolutely.
For businesses to thrive. You can also do something. For example, I'm not sure government has done anything for you. This is entirely your initiative.
Absolutely.
You see, so by the time, before you know it, of course you are going to employ people. That's what we are talking about. I do not justify the fact that there are no jobs for our teeming youths. For instance, what drives them most times is not even because of lack of money. Because in Emoha, Chief W.J. Watcher is a known hotelier in Rivers State. The Safari Hotel has been there before these new hotels you see.
Yeah, Safari is
so
an old brand.
good. So what would you say in that case? That is also the issue of the Fubara Ohaka, who a stark illiterate who now masquerades as a politician. You know, because there is no entry behavior into politics. Every idiot comes once you are able to, once you have Etibo and Woko, you become a politician. So he says he's honorable.
But why the sudden response? This thing has been on for the past few years.
You know, that's what pains me.
Why the sudden response? That's
what pains me, where people... should we be talking about why the sudden response? Or that people are dying people are leaving this state in their numbers. And of course the inhalation of the suits is beginning to form antigens, beginning to kill the red blood cells in the body. So there is always a time for everything. Were it not so, the Bible won't record it.
There was also a case that you had a stiff confrontation with one of them, and was it true that someone died in the process of you trying to stop them? Was there a shooting?
No, there has not been any incident like that. What has happened is that we have at every point in time confronted them.
Even before now?
Even before now. Now, the most important thing is that there is a difference between a man who carries arms legitimately and a man who does so criminally.
Yeah.
Okay? So, of course, we will go with police because
definitely
we can only blow muted trumpet.
Yeah.
Good. So we go with police and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, too, you've only for us to discover that they do have touched the pie. So it's a big business. It's not a small thing. It has to do with different layers of cartel, because it involves a lot of money. But what they don't understand is the health implications.
Even for them who are part of the whole.
Of course, you know what matters is money.
Money.
And this December, a lot of them bought jeeps. A lot of them bought jeeps and went home to harass.
So the illegal refining thing is very lucrative. It's as lucrative as they wouldn't want to drop it now.
No, what happened was that when the vice president, sometime in the life of this administration, the vice president was seen crisscrossing the whole of the Niger Delta, and they dropped the hint that the federal government was going to partner with
them to set up modular refineries.
The artisans to set up modular refineries. So that was like the vice president giving them a nod.
Yeah, right.
So that was what happened. 6 years down the line, nobody has heard anything from Mr. Vice President again. So they now felt that what they were doing was very good. They are doing something that even the government is willing to partner with them.
True.
So they went to town. Now, but for us in Rivers State, why isn't anybody asking, why is this not happening in Akwa Ibom? Why is it not happening in Delta? Why is it not happening, even if those who do these things are
it's happening in Bayelsa also ahead.
Well, not to the extent that it is going on in Rivers State. And now what bothers me, why is Shell not talking? Those who own
so there are lots of dynamics to this.
Good. The dynamics is that I have said at different fora, when you go and see these refineries, quote and unquote, you will see that our people from the local government can't sponsor it. It is still the same Shell staff.
Interesting.
Yes, I make bold to say it. They know when the pipelines have pressure. They know they give pressure to the young men. They tell you, we will switch off this time. We will on here. So go and pump.
Wow. Interesting.
Yes. So if not, how would you have known? How would you have bought for the noise that we made? How would you have known that a civil defense official who is in charge of pipeline fertilization owns an oven?
And then you look at the equipment that they are using for the process.
They are not small equipment. You need not less than not less than 30 million
to start up.
To start an oven.
Wow.
So it's not an all-commerce business. Now what of the know-how? What of the technology? How do you clamp a pipe? Okay? So you see that a lot of technology is brought to bear. So we feel in Rivers State that this is another neo-colonialism. The governor of Rivers State, Chief Barrister Ian Wike, has in his own way contributed immensely in terms of the development of this state. And of course, because he's the governor that speaks truth to power, most times he may have offended the federal government. So the best way for the federal government to incite the people of the state against the government and people of Rivers State is to allow this kind of atmosphere to thrive. Because when people are dying, it's, government is not doing anything. And of course, it is the place of government. The first duty of government is to secure life and property. So that's what they are doing, some kind of neo-colonialism. Because they will not realize that issues of petroleum and allied matters are in the exclusive list in the Constitution. Police, civil defense, army are also in the exclusive list.
Let me just come in, because you've talked about these issues, and then the modular refineries. Don't you think with the kind of knowledge and tech know-how that these guys have, giving them license for the modular will actually help to end or cushion some of the
effects? It will not.
This
government should channel their energies. Why aren't our refineries working? Ndube, what is the difficulty in fixing refineries? This government came in when some of us were deceived to following them. Because we looked at the programs, we looked at the kind of things they said about the previous administration. So we felt as patriotic people, absolutely, in upper keys.
Welcome back to Conversation Nigeria with me, Ndume Green. Still on the show today is Honorable Chidi Lloyd. Honorable, you're welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Ndume.
You've had 12 years in the House of Assembly. That makes you almost an authority. You were a leader of the Rivers State House Assembly for a couple of years. Previous DG of APC governorship campaign in Rivers State.
Most regrettably.
and then now the chairman of Emoha local government. When you look at the different roles that you've played as a politician, when you want to analyze them, which of them stands out for you, despite the fact that it's been just a short
Well, I wouldn't want to sound arrogant because the dancer does not see his back. So I will rely on whatever you and the other people say about me. So I wouldn't want to come here. Of course, you won't expect anything less. That I was this, I was that. So I don't like to do that. So whatever you say about me, about my times in the assembly, I will verily believe that.
Even if I don't rate you well, even if
No, it doesn't matter. That's why I'm alive. I'm still improving. You make mistakes, and I was never a member of the House of Assembly before I went in. So I learned on the job.
Now that is a straight transition from the legislature to the executive, sort of. When you came into Emoha, there were a lot of issues. You locking out shops, locking out staff that came late, and all that, still under the tree to make sure you put things in place. And then now, the renovations are going on now in the council.
We are not renovating, we are building.
You're actually building?
Yes.
Okay, wow. So everything starting afresh?
And that's why most times I invite people to come and do the devil's advocate. If you come yourself, look for news. Some of these news won't be necessary again because we are talking from the point
So
of...
how have you been able to streamline operations in Emoha now in terms of the response of the staff from what you saw when you came back? What has changed? What are the few
A lot
things
has
put in
changed
place?
because we came with a mantra that we were going to change the narrative. But for what I don't do, and with due respect, I wouldn't want you to drag me to talk. I hate to talk about what I meant. What is important is what I would
doing.
live.
That is what you are doing is also important.
Yes.
So that for Emoha people who are not home and who are outside the shores of this country who will be watching this show, for them to have an idea of what is happening at home, because that's a way of attracting.
We are on the website. We are the first local government here to launch a website.
That's interesting. The first.
Yes, we are in the website. Yes,
okay.
And gone are those days when our local government identification letter used to be like a primary school testimonial.
So now you
just sit in the leisure of your parlor in Japan and go to our website. You ask, they will show you a section for where you get what do they call it, a local government identification letter. You click, answer the frequently asked questions, pay your money. Then if you want it to be freighted to you, we'll freight it, you pay. And it comes back to you in Japan, in Hiroshima.
Interesting.
So we are moving. So I like to concentrate on what I will do.
So what do you want to do now moving forward?
I want to live a more better than I met it.
You're not worried that, for example, sorry for taking me back to the issue of suit. Now when this suit issue ends,
I'm fighting it from.
Come back.
Look. You see, please let nobody blackmail you. Let nobody blackmail you into the issue of we don't have jobs. You created this yourself. Did you wait for any government?
No.
So let's assume everybody may not have the wherewithal to start a TV station. Okay? Only recently, in a sister channel, the president of this country advised us to go to farm. So what else do you want to hear? So a man cannot tell me that the best way to cover a hole is to dig another hole. You don't do that. You don't go into committing genocide just because you want money. Do you know that of the two crimes, this genocide and kidnapping, that I will choose kidnapping? Because you just catch a group of people, then begin to place phone calls to their relatives. If they look for the money and pay you, you leave them.
They don't
this
pay.
One, everybody, including you, the businessman, is dying. I have been running a medical
really
outreach.
Absolutely.
You know, but you see, they don't know about that.
Unbelievable.
Good. So when you say it, they plead, look, government can leave us. That's why we are not on the street. Who gives a damn? If you come out of the street, you will find law enforcement agents who will deal with you squarely. You get the point? In as much as I think that everybody should be employed. What do you say about WJ Watcher, who owns a hotel, a big hotel, that chose to go into this, to walk this road to perdition?
Has he been arrested?
It's not for me to do. I have given my information as I don't know what they call them, Chief Security Officer of the LGA, Chief Logistics Officer of the local government. So what they do with them is their business. That's why I say, in this matter, we can only blow muted trumpet. And you know how a trumpet is.
Yes.
You cover the mouth,
yes.
so nobody hears you. So you can imagine the risk the governor and I took to walk into 10 kilometers into a forest.
10 kilometers?
Of course, it is there. So we are doing our best. I found another refinery somewhere in Rumuji. That is 15 of 3 people all went there. 15 of those huge pipes. Imagine when that one comes on stream.
Wow.
15. I was telling you something. For the past 6 years, my wife has been doing a medical outreach every Yuletide. Now, when the outreach finishes, she sits down with the lawyers, with the doctors, to look at the most prevalent ailment in the communities, with a view to giving them, prescribing the right drugs. So this time they will say it's HIV, the other time they will say it's malnutrition. But in 2021, what we had was mainly tracheal infection.
Wow.
Now these are infections that because they are inside,
lungs related.
Good. Before you know it, it will be cancer of the lungs, and yours truly to the grave. So I asked people, I didn't find in my village, because I live in the village, I didn't see loads of bags of rice that were brought by members of the National Union of Illegal Bunkering. So I shouldn't die because you're doing business.
Absolutely.
So that's what we are saying.
Killing
so
everybody.
If you have a way,
if you submitted yourself to death, people shouldn't be part of
that would mean I have elected to die. So that's the advocacy that we are doing. So that's why I said that initially when you asked when will you stop, I said when we all agree. Go to a community in my local government called Iba. Every household is a fuel dump. And they think it's business.
Fire outbreak and also
they don't even bother.
Costs a lot of harm.
They don't even bother. So when in the event of fire, what I notice is that they do not always make enough money to rebuild the house. Then they start coming to the local government chairman. Oh, my house was burned. Of course I won't listen. Sometime in October, over 27 persons were burnt in a dump in Rumebe.
You never came to the news?
No, it was in the news. Some persons called me from Reuters.
Okay.
They said, here I'm the local government chairman. I said, that's correct. Oh, what am I doing about people who died in the forest in Rumebe? I said, why didn't you both ask me about people, armed robbers of Emoba origin who got caught in their business? Simple. So why should I bother about armed robbers who were caught? Because it's the same thing. That is their business. Were they set up place by other people? No. That's the hazard of the business they went to perform. And you will agree with me, Ndume, since the governor took this very proactive step, Rivers people are confessing that.
Definitely, it has dropped. It has dropped significantly. So
you can now, you don't need to mop your sitting room or your house over and over again. This is governance. It's not just providing amenities. Leading from the front, and of course you give that to Governor Ian.
Give him that credit. Okay, now we'll take a short commercial break. We'll come back, give you the last lap of the interview. We'll be right back. Thank you. Well, welcome back to Conversation Nigeria. It's been an interesting conversation here with Honorable Chidi Lloyd. Honorable, the final question before we take off this show. 2023 is just by the corner. What kind of candidate are you looking forward to for Nigeria? Even if we know you want somebody from your party.
Everything, but certainly not a candidate like the present president.
You campaign for him?
I did, by default.
Convinced Nigerians to vote.
That is what I'm saying. We relied on previous documents.
Okay.
We relied on previous.
Is
That's
there
why you
anything-
don't judge a book by the cover.
Is there anything on the scorecard that you give him some marks?
I don't
Corruption,
think there is,
anti-corruption?
there is nothing. There is no card to look at. There is no card to look at. On my way here, I was hearing on radio, 25 people have been killed in one community, in his state. You know, because until your relation is killed, you won't know. One day I was watching the TV and I saw lecturers from the University of Bayero University camp who were kidnapped. They went to conduct survey.
They carried all of them.
And they carried all of them. Yesterday, I don't know what they call them, headsmen or Taliban, because we have different took charge of a military school in the village of the former chief of army staff. There was no resistance from anywhere. They brought down the Nigerian flag and set it ablaze. So, is that what you wish this country?
Well, interesting conversation we've had here today. Thank you so much for being with us. My name is Ndume Green here on Conversation Nigeria. See you again next time.